Okay. And we're live, or at least I am. Tim is experiencing technical difficulties. He has restarted his computer. Jason is lined up. He's going to be in the chat. So it is just me while Tim gets his computer up and running. And you might be wondering, why is Bowser here to talk about The Nightmare Before Christmas? And that's because it's Halloween, folks. And, you know, if you got a costume, you got to dig it out of the closet and wear it. That's why. So we're here to do our level best. If you're here in the comments, hang out. We're going to try to convince Tim the error of his ways. He is a Nightmare Before Christmas hater. I just concluded my most recent rewatch about 15-20 minutes ago. So I'm ready to tell him he is wrong. Also, we're going to delve into, is this a Halloween movie? Is it a Christmas movie? Is it a Christmas and Halloween movie? Is it a good way to just spend the entire holiday season? I don't know, but we're going to find out. Oh, and here is Timmy.
Sorry about that. Here,
Happy Halloween, Tim.
Happy Halloween. I had a raucous night of trick-or-treating, and for whatever reason, when we logged on initially, my microphone and camera were not working, but I am here. I am here to discuss this topic, Dan, for sure.
Yeah. Now, I gotta. It is tricks or treats. As Sally would say, it's tricks or treats. How was tricks or treats?
It was very, very good. Very good. We went with a huge group of kids, and had lots of candy and lots of great things happening. So I was very excited. My kids had a great time, so it was excellent. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Enjoyed the tricks or treats.
Did anybody get a rock?
No, nobody got a rock. I did bring up several times, I got a rock. I did say that at least twice. So, it was funny.
Were there any parents, lame parents like me, in costumes?
No, there were no lame parents in costumes. I have done that multiple times. Back when my son was too young to know any better. We did Batman and Robin one year, and we did Mandalorian and Grogu when he was a baby. So so we've done the pairing costumes before, and honestly, until he cares about it again, I'm perfectly fine just being a middle-aged white dad bod man. So yeah, I'm perfectly fine just being the guy who stands there at the end of the driveway and waits. So perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, that was me for years, but I've re-embraced the childhood spirit, and it's fun.
Yes.
It's fun to have a costume.
Yes. I love the Koopa costume, Dan. It fits you very well with the Jack Black, the Jack Black likeness. So it fits very well.
This is the Bowser costume made famous. He wore this on.
I know.
One of the shows.
The year that they did the thing is when he did it. So yeah, absolutely.
And this is I wore my we're doing Ghostbusters this year, and I wore that last week, and we did Beetlejuice last year. I was on because we were on Halloween last year. It fell on a Thursday, and so this was 2 years ago. This was the same year. This was
so you guys all did Ghostbusters this year?
Yeah, we're doing Ghostbusters. I'm a Ghostbuster. Jess is a Ghostbuster. Kate is State Buffed.
Did either of the females dabble in the all female costumes? Did they did they dabble in that, or
no? Yeah, Jess has got the regular Ghostbuster jumpsuit. I think she's going with the Egon. She's going to have the Spangler patch on, and Kate has the Stay Puft, like the dress. It's like a cute skirt, but it's Stay Puft.
It's Stay Puft. Okay.
Yeah, my son D is going to be Slimer.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
just so everybody knows, my kids are in their 20s.
Yeah, exactly.
My daughter is in grad school, and my son is about to graduate his 5-year engineering program
That's
in a
funny.
couple months. But they're gonna come home and dress up like nerds with mom and dad because they're that cool. They're good kids. They're
That's
gonna
right.
help us pass out candy, and we're
That's
going to a
awesome.
party afterwards. So good times.
That's perfect.
Anyway,
Perfect.
maybe next year, we could be Jack and Sally, and maybe we could throw in the mayor and Dr. Frankenstein or what's his name? Dr.
Finkelstein. Dr.
Finkelstein. Dr. Finkelstein. Yeah.
Finkelstein. Finkelstein, whatever.
Finkelstein.
Yeah.
I think Finkelstein is actually, even though I got his name, he's one of my favorite characters. Pointed out to me tonight, because we just rewatched tonight by my wife, that he is voiced by, and I don't know the guy's name, the uncle from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Mm-hmm. It's the same voice. And once you know, you hear it. You couldn't hear a dump
Uncle
truck
Lewis
in a nitroglycerin factory.
Yeah, Uncle Lewis. Uncle Lewis. That's who
the blessing. Yeah. They want you to say the blessing. It's the same voice as Sally. That's you poisoned my tea for the So just so much wonderfulness, and all Tim could do is poop on it. It is not there for you to poop on, but we have lots of comments. We're gonna fire some of those up and let that lead the way. I Am the Night says, is it a Halloween or a Christmas movie? So what do you think, Tim? And then either way you go, I'm going to tell you why you're wrong, because I'm ready to go either way. I just watched it.
I mean, I kind of feel like there's arguments both ways. I feel like if you're really going to like have a scorecard, that it leans like 70-30 Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's kind of where it is. I mean, you can't deny the theme is very much Halloween, and you can't deny the characters are all very much Halloween. But the whole point of the movie is Jack is tired of Halloween every year and wants to do something fresh and different, and he stumbles into the Christmas land, and that's exactly, you know, what the whole movie is about him partaking in Christmas. So I think it leans more Christmas. Christmas is in the title, and the whole movie is focused more around Christmas. It takes place after Halloween, so leads up to Christmas. So I do think it leans more Christmas, but I see arguments both ways.
So watching it just today, and maybe it's just because I'm watching it on Halloween Eve. You know, it bent. I think it works better as a Halloween movie, because Jack is the Pumpkin King, and he's lost the Halloween spirit. And this is the plot line of many Christmas movies. You know, you lose the Christmas spirit, but Jack has lost the Halloween spirit, and in trying to go out and do Christmas and find something else to do, he recaptures. You know, at the end, the climax is when he realizes that, you know, he is meant to be the Pumpkin King, and Halloween is where he should be, and he finds his Halloween spirit, and he's ready for next Halloween to have Santa Claus go save this Christmas, because he wasn't really good at that anyway. So, like, it's, you know, he finds the Halloween spirit, so that kind of works as a Halloween thing. Plus, the whole thing's in a Halloween town, so you know, the Christmassy moments are really just when he goes to Christmas Town, you know, that, you know, and the What's This song. But, you know, a lot of it works more. The Mr. Boogedy, that is all very Halloween. You know, This Is Halloween, opens very Halloween. So I feel like it works as a Halloween. So I do feel like you could watch it the entire holiday season. You know, they could put it up on the Freeform and just leave it there. It's seasonal, you know. What do we got here? Thug Dog. So definitely a Christmas movie. Also, why don't we get any stop action animation today? Well, I think I know why. Why do you think we not get any of that kind of animation, Tim?
I mean, it takes a lot of time to get that stuff just right. I mean, this movie is only like 75 minutes long, and it probably took years to get all the animation just right. Now, I do think that, you know, and Dan says I'm going to crap on the movie. I'm not going to crap on the movie. Okay. What I will tell you is that the movie is not my style. It was not for me, and we can kind of get into that a little bit. But one of the things that I cannot complain about is the stop action animation. It's fantastic, and I've always been a big fan of stop action animation. I loved all the specials growing up, right? I loved Rudolph, and I loved Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and Jack Frost, and all of those that were really, really popular when we were growing up. But this kind of took that to a whole new level. This was Disney showing that they could do stop action animation, but they could do it in kind of a whole different world. And so, it reminds me very much of what they did with Muppet Christmas Carol, where they took a whole Dickensian universe and built it all to Muppet scale. They really did the same thing here. They took what should be, like a live action universe, and built it to the scale of doing stop action, and made it so that a lot of the same like transitions that you would normally get from scene to scene, and things like that, and the way that they would move kind of through the town and things would be happening, that was all new for stop action animation. That took so much time, and I got to give the director a lot of credit. The director in this movie, stop action is kind of what he does. He did James and the Giant Peach. He did Coraline. He did a lot of things that have been known and renowned as good stop action animation. So this isn't the only thing that he ever did. And I feel like this is back when Disney always kind of tried to raise the bar on what they were doing. When they decided they were going to do something that was stop action animation, they were going to raise the bar from what had been done previously. And I think that's something that, they did a very, very good job with it. The reason we don't see it today is obviously there's just more efficient ways to get the same kind of effect. And I think that's a shame, because, when I take a look at some of the stuff that they've tried to do, I think that The Corpse Bride was once again something else that was from the mind of Tim Burton, that they tried to do the CGI with it to make it look like this, and it just didn't work as well. You know what I mean? No. The Corpse Bride is not a fraction as popular, and I think part of the reason is the stop action animation. So anyway, that's just kind of how I feel about it. What do you feel about it, Dan?
Computers are ruining everything. The people in Hollywood have decided that CGI can do everything. It could give you your set. You can put whole characters in. You can, do all of your animation, no hand drawn, no stop motion, no anything. All of the effects are 100%. They don't even bother making models anymore to have like a physical reference that you then move using the computer. And they think it's as good, but it's just not. It's just not. And we all have a fond place in our heart for Rankin and Bass and Rudolph and stuff like that, and that kind of stop motion. And but you could see the movements. It's got that herky jerky kind of thing. But when you watch something like this, and the fluidity of the movement and the movement of the camera and the way it all works, you're like, I want more stop motion effects. In movies, they used to do that, and they got away from it because they needed the fluidity of the CGI. Well, I mean, I don't see any jerky motions in these films. You know what I'm saying? It all moves, and it's lit better, and it looks more real, and it looks. You know why it looks more real? Because it is. It's a physical object with a physical light on it that somebody took a picture of, and it's real, and it's actually there. So it looks like it's actually there because it is. So, bring back more actual things, handmade
Yeah.
stuff. Disney could do it. Disney is, they only make crap now.
Mm.
But if there was somebody that could do stop motion, that could do hand drawn animation and bring all of these things back, it would be them. And
They don't even do claymation anymore. Claymation is now CGI, and I just feel like they're just totally missing the boat on a lot of things that people used to love. People used to love the stop action animation, claymation, a lot of the stuff that just kind of set apart for certain genres and certain stories. If I go see Wallace and Gromit, I don't want to see CGI. That takes away. That's cheap. That cheapens it. I don't want to see that. And that's the same thing with this, man. When they change to CGI, you're 100% right, Dan. Like, there are some stories it works really well for, but I think when Toy Story came out in 1998, it made everybody realize, oh, we can do that, and we can put out a lot more movies a lot quicker, and we can make those movies longer, and it would be better, but I feel like some of these movies you just shouldn't have done that with, and so now it's kind of what we're stuck with.
Yeah, and we were doing last week, and I've actually, it's on my list, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. I watched the Mr. Toad this week. I don't know if I have ever watched it. Now that I've watched it this week, I can honestly say I'm not 100% I had ever watched more than 10 minutes of it.
Yeah.
But CGI does not capture the charm of the hand-drawn animation. All of these things, like, I'm not saying get rid of computer animation, or I love Toy Story, I love Inside Out, I love Monsters Inc. I mean, Pixar went on a stretch for like 10-15 years where every movie was excellent, but it doesn't mean you have to throw everything else out. It doesn't have to be everything,
Absolutely.
So we got some Jason's down here in the comments. He says, does the love story seem super forced? Sally. And
I feel like first of all, I don't know if it's really a love story. I think it might kind of start out that way, but I kind of feel like more it's I think there's multiple motivations for Sally, and it's not just the love for Jack. And I think that's kind of the uniqueness of the character. I was not, and I'm going to be completely separate from Dan. I was not overwhelmingly interested in the whole thing with her and Finkelstein. Okay, I feel like they drug that on for about a third of the movie longer than they should have, and I feel like if they had kind of ditched that and kind of made it so that Sally was kind of more integral in trying to work with Jack on the Christmas thing, it might have been a little different, but then Sally kind of ends up being the hero in the end too, which is kind of interesting. So I really I don't know. I wasn't really into the quote unquote love story, and I don't know if it really was a love story. I think there were several different motivations there, and it got a little clouded. It was a little different, and that's why I personally, that's not an angle of the story that I really cared about as much. Dan, I don't know. What do you think?
I buy it. It's a simple story. Like I said, it's only 70 minutes long, and it's made for all audiences, including young children. So you're not going to get deep, complicated romance. You're going to get something fairly simple, and it is pretty well established that as the Pumpkin King, Jack Skellington is a pretty hot commodity. So pretty much the entirety of the female population of Halloween Town is pining for Jack. So the idea that Sally would also be pining for Jack is not a stretch,
Yeah.
So, and Sally does seem kind of smart. So the fact that she would actually have a deeper care and like want to know more about what he's into, that just shows that she's a little bit smarter than the average groupie. that that Jack has. But they do kind of establish that Jack is kind of the man. He is him, as they would say. And so yeah, I buy it. And then, is it better than Halloween 3 Season of the Witch? Now, I have not made it to Season of the Witch yet, Tim.
There are colonoscopies that are better than Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Okay. There are, yes, there are root canals that are better than Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. All right. If you just throw yourself off some concrete stairs head first, that would be better than Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. So yes, it is better than Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Okay.
I'm going to have to watch it. I do enjoy watching bad things sometimes. If they're bad, is it bad enough to enjoy how bad it is? Is it?
I think my experience with Halloween 3 was when I was like 12 years old, and I watched it in succession with the first 2 Halloween movies. So I watched two very good Halloween movies, and then I just left it on Halloween 3 thinking, oh, I'm going to watch this nice Michael Myers movie, and it wasn't that. And so I don't think anything could have brought me up out of the pit of despair after after seeing that movie. So I will forever hate it because it ruined my night when I was 12 years old. Okay. But anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. Jason said, much like video killed the radio star, CGI killed good movies. And it did. It really did.
It did. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Practical effects, much like practical animation, stop motion, stop action, claymation, hand drawn, practical special effects in a movie, all of those things are really expensive and take a lot of time and a lot of planning. So you have to limit yourself on what you're going to do. You have to, is this really important? Does it have to be in the movie? Even like a hand-drawn movie, Disney would storyboard those and storyboard them again and storyboard them again. And then they would hone it, because to animate a scene is hundreds, if not thousands, of man hours.
It's just the opening sequence of The Lion King. Just the opening sequence took like 3.5 years. Okay, to make sure they got everything just right. And that's when you're talking about hand-drawn animation, I mean, it's going to take a long time. You're trying to make animals look like animals and not cartoons, and that was a whole new thing at the time. And so this is the same, man. The reason this movie is only 75 minutes is because it took so long to put this together, and you can appreciate it. You can really stand back and appreciate it. But that's why they're not ever going to do this again. They're not ever going to do this again because these stop action movies just take so long to do.
But also, from a story perspective, that's why older movies in many cases are just better.
Yeah.
Because they had to actually go, is this worth the time?
It is.
Is this scene integral? Do we need this scene, or can we just cut it? Because it's going to take 3 years to make this scene.
Exactly.
So maybe this scene isn't important to tell the story, and we could just cut it. But when you just hit play on a computer, and you have, or you're George Lucas and you're making Star Wars, and you can't get a big Jabba the Hutt, CG things, you have to cut that from it, and you don't get Jabba until Return of the Jedi, and you didn't need it, and everything's better for it. You can't just push a button and get everything your imagination wants. You have to actually sit down and figure out what's important. Where do I deploy my resources? So whether you're making a cartoon or a live action film, these computers made everything. That's why the movies are 3 hours long and not interesting. Because everything that comes to mind, you could just throw it in there, and it doesn't really cost that much extra. It's I don't know. Let's see. Was there a moment or scene that hits differently now than when you first saw it? That's Hope wants to know. So, Tim, I know the first time you watched it, you weren't.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that maybe I saw this time that I didn't see when I was a kid, that maybe was just kind of like a thing. I think when I was a kid, I didn't realize maybe the weird the weird, almost kidnap-esque type relationship that Finkelstein had with Sally. I think that was kind of a weird thing at the time, but as a kid, I was just like, oh, that's just part of the story. It is just a little bit more adult than that, probably. So that's something, but just some other thing. When I was a kid, I don't think I noticed all the little grotesque details like Sally's limbs falling off and stuff like that, and the weird little like fleshy stuff that's going on inside her arms and stuff. I don't think I really realized all that stuff when I was a kid either, that now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, but that's just kind of, once again, that's the difference between seeing this when did this come out? Like 93, 94, something stupid.
93.
I don't know.
Just
93.
93.
I was 10 years old when this movie came out. You know what I mean? So it's like, when I saw this movie, yeah, of course there are things that I didn't look at the same way as I would look at them now. But at the same time, I mean, I don't think there's anything that I can look at now and say that it was like transformationally different. The story is still pretty obviously the same direction and a lot of that kind of stuff. So a lot of the same character development that I was looking at before and all that kind of stuff. Maybe a little of the morality question, like, is Jack really the bad guy or the good guy? Those kind of things are the things I guess I didn't really think about maybe when I was growing up, but that's about it.
There's some political satire with the character of the mayor that might slip past you as a young person. Like, I'm only an elected official. I can't make any decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's good. And the through line, the plot, Jack's motivation kind of hits you a little different when you're older, because basically this movie is Jack's midlife crisis.
Yeah.
so as a 40-year-old man, the quintessential questioning of your role in the world and getting tired of doing the same old thing every day and wanting to try something new, you could relate to it more as a middle-aged dude, because basically, Jack is a middle-aged dude having a midlife crisis. Now he's probably thousands of years old or hundreds or whatever, but he's definitely having a midlife crisis, and that is the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
So that kind of hits. And then Hope says, which scene do you think shows off the best visual storytelling and why?
I think This Is Halloween is fantastically choreographed for stop action. I think that's one of those that's one of the things that I was talking about when I was talking about the very beginning. That sequence, moving from one place to the other and having something happen here and then moving to the background and having something completely different happen, like it's a transition. It's like this is a real world that there was a camera moving through. And I think that was something that really had not been done in stop action previously. If you had seen any of the songs, for instance, in like the Rudolph special, but for instance, right, they didn't do anything like that, right?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing, the transitions, like they would like flap a blanket or something and it would cover up and it would go to a transition to a whole new scene. That kind of stuff is the kind of stuff that in stop action they had not done before. That kind of was Disney raising the bar on stop action and making it more real life. And so that is probably the best visual effect that I can think of in the film. I think that they spent so much time on that. I don't know that there was a lot more of that throughout it, but in that scene, impeccable.
Yeah. I would say This Is Halloween is a real showstopper of all of the different choreography, animation, cuts, camera movement, to really put you in the place. Just to give another something else, the Mr. Oogie Boogie number, that sequence where he's singing to Santa Claus is really well done. The glow in the dark black light element, Mr. Oogie Boogie's song is really fun, and there's a lot of camera movement there too. There's not as many characters, as it's primarily just Santa and Oogie Boogie, but like the background singers being the skeletons, and the skeletons get squished, and that's when they sing, and the bats sing. I think that one is a really good one too. And the colors are fun. We got another one down here. Do you think the story is more about self-discovery, about respecting boundaries?
I mean, I think it's I try not to go too deep into this. I think that this was a very, very easy storyboard. Okay, Jack is the king of the Halloween land. He doesn't want to be king of the Halloween land. He wants to be, he feels like there's something more out there. He stumbles into the Christmas land, and all of a sudden that's what he wants out of life. I mean, it's a very, very easy storyboard. I don't know that I'm going to go too deep into into self-discovery or and any underlying message. I think that it's a pretty simple story that we can look back on now, and we can add a little bit of morality into it and saying, did Jack go too far, that kind of thing. But all in all, I think it's just a very, very basic storyline that was meant to be basic. I'm not going to try reading too much into it.
I think really it does have a good lesson. Like most stories for kids, there's a good life lesson in there, and the life lesson is to really embrace and enjoy like yourself and your own lot. Jack is out here finding other things, but in going and trying to do Christmas, he rediscovers his love for the fact that he's that he's in charge of Halloween, that he's the Pumpkin King. So,
and not only that, but he wasn't very good at Christmas. And I think that's really the big thing, is he ruined Christmas by trying to enjoy Christmas. And that's, the grass isn't always greener, that kind of thing. So absolutely.
Embrace what you're good at,
Yes, that's right.
Be thankful for your blessings in life, that kind of thing, which, that's a tried and true formula that you have in film and stories. Okay, This Is Halloween is one of the best songs ever. Jon Snow Knows Nothing. I would say it is probably top. It's probably the best Halloween song. Is there a better Halloween song?
I think there's a lot of better Halloween songs, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, when I think of Halloween, do I think of Thriller? Yes. Do I think of Monster Mash? Yes. Maybe it comes in a close third there, but I think that those two obviously are going to be up towards the top. I mean, what else do we have? The Addams Family and the Munsters theme songs. I don't even know what else we have. So yeah, I mean, I guess that would kind of be it, but I would say This Is Halloween is right there. I mean, it's a great song that a lot of people play during Halloween. I went to several car dealerships this week, and it was playing on almost all of them when I was there. So, so you can just tell. I mean, it's definitely a huge, cultural thing now that the movie has been out for 30 years. Around Halloween, it's just on everybody's playlist, and I think that's there's a reason for that. It is a good song, so yeah,
it's very well done, well executed, and it's specific. It's not just scary or spooky. It can kind of be drawn in. It's about
this is
Christmas.
Halloween. Yes,
we could start listing, and we'll be here through New Year's talking about Christmas songs that are about Christmas. They're specifically made for Christmas. As far as Halloween, most of it's just spooky stuff. You can listen to Frankenstein, by the Edgar Winter Group. There's not even any words to that. Or you can listen to Godzilla by the Blue Oyster Cult, but that's about Godzilla. Just like Thriller is just about scary movies, but it works. But this movie's about Halloween, so I don't know that there's many other ones. So that it kind of carved out its own niche. Also Team Halloween. So yeah, he's also saying it's a Halloween movie. So I think that's on my thing. Flash Ain't Fast. The whole movie is about how Jack is tired of Halloween and wants to join Christmas because it makes him feel better inside. So obviously a Christmas movie. But see, he was wrong. So that makes it a Halloween movie. See, I Am the Night says it's Team Halloween. And Thug Dog says, interesting that the cast included names like Paul Rubens and Greg Proops.
Greg Proops, yeah. You might remember Greg Proops from Whose Line Is It Anyway? And he also had he was a host of a game show on Comedy Central in the early 2000s. Do you remember the Beat the Geeks TV show, Dan? That was a good one. So yeah, Greg Proops also was in this movie. I think he played the devil, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, he played the devil in this one. And then Paul Rubens, I did not know Paul Rubens was in this movie. That is surprising to me. So
he's one of the trick-or-treaters. Yeah.
Oh, is he? Okay. Yeah, he's one of the trick-or-treaters.
Yeah. Jess announced it while we were watching. Like, Pee Wee Herman's in this. I'm like, Paul
Really?
Rubens?
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
And you have your Tim Burton regular, Catherine O'Hara as Sally.
Yeah, of course.
Back from Beetlejuice. The mayor is voiced by the dude that's the weird designer guy in Beetlejuice. People have a company. I would think that, in Pee-wee, Paul Rubens, Tim Burton directed Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That was I think Tim Burton's first big movie was Pee-wee's Big. I know you are, but what am I? So thoughts on the Danny Elfman score. It's one of my favorite of his. So Johnson Knows Nothing loves this score, Tim. What are your thoughts?
First of all, I think that Danny Elfman is brilliant. Okay. Love a lot of his work. Love the Spider-Man score. Love the Batman score. Love the Simpsons theme. There's a lot of things that I love about Danny Elfman. I do think that Danny Elfman does have a little bit of a stereotypical style that comes through in this movie, and in my opinion does get to the point where it sort of lacks a little bit of variety. He has a lot of what Danny Elfman is known for, and it's been satired in things like Family Guy and Simpsons before, where he's known for having these very bouncy themes throughout his music, and that definitely comes to light in this movie in almost every song. So I would say the great thing about a composer's score when they take a score to a movie is when there is just fluid variety throughout it, and you almost don't even realize it's the same guy that wrote the song because they're so different. That's what I love about Johnny Williams and a lot of the stuff that he's always famous for is, the themes that he goes in between the characters and the scenes and the different things like that. They fit so differently. Orchestral music is just one of the hardest things to do. And I do think that Danny Elfman is a genius. I think that he has done fantastic work before. This is not my favorite score of his because I do believe it gets a little repetitive. But once again, there are some iconic songs in here, so I can appreciate those. But I do think that this does fit kind of the stereotypical Danny Elfman style.
It can't be my favorite Danny Elfman score because he scored Batman '89. And among the great things about that movie, I think the score, it might be one of the best things about that movie. There is no better.
Batman in my mind, that is the Batman theme. And that is the Batman theme as far as I'm concerned. And that's, to this day, whenever I see, if I'm reading a Batman comic, that theme is playing in my mind. And so I think that it stands out. So
yeah,
absolutely.
The animated series has a great score, but really it's very much the same.
It's based on the Elfman score. Yeah, for sure. It's based on the Elfman score. There's no doubt about it.
And I love Chris Nolan, and we love the Dark Knight trilogy. It's not perfect, but I couldn't hum you 2 notes of the score of those films. I really have no idea what it sounds like.
Well, I
I'd
don't
have
think
to
there
look
was.
it up.
I think Nolan is very, very famous for not making a theme. All right, he's very, very
Yeah.
famous, and I think he did it throughout that trilogy of not having a theme. He didn't want a theme to be what people thought of when they thought of the movie. He wants the movie to be what you think of when you think of the movie, and so there's not really anything in particular that you're going to be humming or hearing or seeing. He still uses music. Music is still very much a part of how he brings about the effect of the movie, but it is not a theme that you will be humming in the elevator the next day. And that's by design. He wants you remembering the movie, not the theme. But I think that the Elfman score, that's one of those things that I think a lot of people think of, and they think, okay, that's Batman. When they think of Batman theme, that's what they're thinking of. And so, this was an okay score. And I think for the style of movie that it was, it fit pretty well. But it did get a little bit on the repetitive side for me. A little bit more stereotypical, kind of falling back into kind of what I'm comfortable writing kind of things. But once again, orchestral themes are hard. I'm not going to get on Danny Elfman for, writing this. I will get on Danny Elfman for this, though. He did shoehorn himself in to be the voice of Jack Skellington, the singing voice of Jack Skellington, and he sounds nothing like the voice actor. I will say that. He sounds absolutely nothing. This isn't like Aladdin where it's like, that might be the same guy. He doesn't sound like him at all. Okay.
I think you have a personal just predilection there, because I surveyed my wife and daughter when we were watching it just an hour or two ago.
Doesn't sound like
they thought it did. They thought it sounded they did not hear this dramatic difference that you hear. They did not notice.
I hear it. It's not just, it's stylistic. Okay, the way that he talks is very stylistic, where he's rolling his R's and doing all this silly stuff when he's singing, but he's not doing that when he's talking. And then the timbre of the voice is quite different if you listen to it. The speaking voice is much lower than the singing voice. So that's just something that I happen to notice.
People don't talk and sing exactly the same,
But they got to make it close, man.
Have you heard Robert Plant speak, Tim? Have you heard Robert Plant? Have you heard Robert Plant speak?
Okay.
Have you? Right, the lead singer of Led Zeppelin. Have you ever heard him talk?
I've never heard him talk, but okay. All right. Look,
would you believe that?
Point taken. But that's not what this is, Dan. This is a story. I'm supposed to believe it's a character, and so it needs to be the same. That's all. I think here's the thing, Dan. Dan, it wouldn't have been that hard. Just have Danny Elfman do the speaking voice. It wouldn't have been that hard, but they didn't do it.
I don't know why they wouldn't do that, but maybe he just can't read lines. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
Because the thing, you don't even have to memorize the script. It's animated. You have it in front of you, but whatever.
Yeah.
Hope says, "Is Jack an ambitious dreamer or the world's most festive criminal?"
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I do think they kind of went with the former to be kind of the setting the tone for the movie, but then the latter is kind of how things ended up. He ended up kind of ruining everything, and then it needed to be saved by everybody else. So yeah, I think he kind of almost ended up being the bad guy of the movie.
I think I don't know. He's just a man in an identity crisis. Again, it's just a dude having a midlife crisis. I don't know. Whatever you think somebody in the throes of a midlife crisis, having an identity crisis is, that's who he was. So did he go too far? Yes, but frequently when you're having a midlife crisis, you will. At least he didn't.
You just wake up and you're just like, why did I buy the red convertible and the motorcycle on the same day? I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah. He didn't cheat on his Halloween wife. He didn't do those things. But let's see, where were we? We're down here.
Elfman score. We were at the after the Elfman scores. The last, next one.
There
There
we
you go.
I think I know why Tim hates it. It's a multiversal story for the holidays. So I mean,
that is true, right? We had all the trees with the different doors and the different universes. Okay, it's a multiversal story. Now I hate this movie even more. All right, way to go.
So yeah. So I guess the idea is like, yes, Santa's at the North Pole, but really where Santa is an alternate dimension where everything is the North Pole. So he lives in Christmas Town, North Pole, whatever, and then like Jack lives in Halloween Town. And all of these holidays, for some reason, are centered on our world.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's like a mystical cross plane, spiritual plane kind of multiverse. I don't hate every multiverse. I just hate it when it's an excuse to like,
do
bring
crappy
back
writing.
Yes,
I
do
know.
dumb things. Yeah. Let's see. Thug Dog. Who is the real villain? Oogie Boogie or Jack? I'm gonna say it's the kid.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, Boogie is he's the villain. Okay. I mean, he's the villain of the movie. That's just, Jack might have done some dumb things and he might have ruined everything, but he didn't intentionally ruin everything. So I would, Oogie Boogie's the villain of the movie. But Jack, I mean, Jack definitely was not the hero of the movie. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. No, that was it. Santa or Sally. If Halloween Town tried to take over another holiday, which one would be the funniest disaster? Tim? Well,
I mean, Labor Day maybe would be really funny. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Oh, no, Dan. Life Day. If they took over Life Day, I think that we might be onto something here. If the citizens of Halloween Town went to the Wookiee village to take over Life Day, I think that we would have a real case for a good movie here. So that's going to be the one that I'm going to say. I'm going to say Life Day.
I mean, we got close when they had the Easter Bunny. Right,
they had the Easter Bunny, right? Yeah, they did.
I didn't even look closely at the other trees of which holidays are represented. You know what I'm saying?
I think there was a turkey. I wanted to say there was a turkey on one.
Yeah.
So Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. That would be a bad draw. But you know what? I'm gonna go with Columbus / indigenous peoples / we're all just because I mean you already have this big cluster of horrible controversy and what's supposed to just be a nice Monday off. You know what I'm saying? It's a nice federal holiday.
Can't you imagine Jack showing up and there's protests outside and he's just like, what's this, right? So I don't know, it would be kind of crazy.
What's this, the Italians seem so mad. What's this, the red man is so sad.
Oh man, and there goes the YouTube push. It's just falling. Okay.
But that could be a real disaster. That would be. Oh, that we're back to Jason's comments. So we made it through the comments. I want that. I want that movie, Tim. We're gonna have to learn stop action photography.
Yeah.
Jack's
okay, so
take over
now that we're through the comments. Okay, comments, let me get and address the elephant in the room, which is Dan's theory that I just hate this movie so much and that I have no okay. So I'm going to address this. Okay, this movie was not made for me. That's all there is to it. Okay, this movie was not made for me. I believe that this movie was kind of and it was based on I believe a story that Tim Burton wrote or something, right? It was
poem, I think,
a poem or something like that. So it was based on something like that. I believe that the studio got a hold of this and figured out when they read it, hey, there's not a Christmas movie out there for everybody. Right? There are some people that like things that are a little bit more occult. Some people like things that are a little bit more, just kind of weird and things that are just a little more obscure and abstract. And I'm just not those people. That's just all there is to it. Some people want a Christmas movie that includes all those elements. I am not that guy. You know what I mean? The people with the 15-foot skeleton in their yard right now, those are probably the people that are just like, this is my favorite Christmas movie ever. Me, I'm just not those people. So I can acknowledge that there is an audience for this movie. I just don't think the audience is me. And that's the reason that I didn't care for it. Not necessarily that I think it was a bad movie or that I think it was poorly done. Obviously, I think it was well done. I just don't think that it's a movie that I personally would have chosen to just sit down and watch if we weren't doing this review. You know what I mean? Like this would not be anything that's just typically on my watch list because it just doesn't hit me where I need to be hit for a Christmas movie. It just doesn't. So that's just it.
That's why I think another reason I think it kind of works better as a Halloween movie because it is so goth and kind of morbid, you know what I'm saying? And he does re-embrace his role in Halloween, and it ties in the Christmas element, which obviously, my wife is already on me. Like she knows, Saturday, it's Christmas.
Yeah. November
tomorrow. Yeah. The day, Thanksgiving gets a turkey, right? You know what I'm saying? We're gonna watch football that Thursday. We're gonna eat turkey, or at least my family is. I don't like turkey. It's awful. But anyway, I'm gonna sit at the table while they eat turkey, and we're gonna honor Thanksgiving. We're gonna say what we're thankful for. But make no mistake, November 1st is Christmas season in our household. So, this movie, since Halloween and the stores are into this, Halloween comes out in September. And if you go to the stores right now, the Halloween stuff's already on clearance and the Christmas stuff is out. I saw a funny TikTok. The guy was at Lowe's, and he had like a video of the Christmas stuff was all here and the Halloween was stuff all there. And I forget what song was playing, but it was perfect. And it was like, I thought a gang war was going to erupt. It was going to be like, beat it,
Yeah.
But it kind of ushers in the Halloween into Christmas season. And I think it works in that sense. It's not going to be on my Christmas time top watch list because it's not the Merry Jolly thing, and I am that. But I will say,
but I think there are some people that it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there are some people that are into a little bit more occult, a little bit more obscure things, and a little bit more abstract things. I think that there are some people that this is the Christmas movie for them, but it's just not for me. And so, and I'm like you, Dan. I don't even know if I like this as an in-between season thing, honestly. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it doesn't really fit either one particularly well. I feel like there's a select audience for this. There is a very, very passionate cult following for this movie, right? So I cannot deny that there is an audience for this movie. I just don't think it fits anywhere in where I would normally watch. So anyway.
Yeah, it works better for me now.
Yeah,
it works for me at Christmas because, again, Christmas is over 2 months long because Christmas Day is not the end of Christmas either. You got to recognize that. The actual 12 days of Christmas, if you don't understand, Christmas Day is day one of the 12 days of Christmas. It is not the 12th day. So if you want to go back to the Roman Catholic calendar and the whole thing, so no, Christmas goes into like early January and it starts November 1st. So I got a long Christmas runway, so this kind of could make it into that playlist because the playlist is deep and, I could only watch because this is Jess's favorite. And I love them. I'm casting absolutely zero shade, but I can only watch Home Alone and Home Alone 2 so many times in a row in that 2-month stretch. You know what I'm saying? I can only rewatch it so many times. So yeah, I could throw this in there. And one thing that struck me watching it just this time, and I don't know if it ever really settled on me, is that Burton's sensibility and this movie's sensibility is it's Seussian. It's very Seussian. Like this whole film
Oh yeah,
is like a macabre Dr. Seuss.
it
You know,
is.
and I don't
Yeah.
think I ever felt that influence before, but even that made it help make it feel a little bit more Christmassy for me because it has a lot of similarities with The Grinch, I feel like.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
You know, so
Oh, for sure.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong, the Grinch is very, very much the Grinch is very much a different tone than this for sure. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, a lot of the universe and the world that they built in particular, um, really does kind of look very, very much like what you would think of as early Dr. Seuss and what we were all kind of introduced to for Dr. Seuss. So yeah, I agree with that, and I do think that Tim Burton pulled inspiration from a lot of different things in order to end up with what we ended up with. But yeah, it was a very good, a very good representation of what his vision was. I think that that's really important. Is that this, what Tim Burton gave us is exactly what he wanted to give us. And I think that there's a very, very good following for it. I think that there's a very passionate following that really just loves this movie. Some of them say, finally, there's a movie for us, right? And once again, this is Disney. Disney was diving into Christmas movies in the 90s like crazy. They did the Muppet Christmas Carol, which I think was kind of a very interesting take on a Christmas Carol. It's like Disney said, let's just do the Christmas Carol, but let's do it for kids, right? I think the only other ones that had been done for kids at that point were the Mickey one and the Flintstones one, and that was it. Okay, every other version. Maybe Mr. Magoo. I think there was a Mr. Magoo version too. But every other version was pretty much a relative adult. I mean, the George C. Scott one would have been way too scary for kids, right? So this is just kind of like, this is kind of like that. It was like Disney kind of stepping in and saying, okay, so we're going to try to capture something a little different with an audience that might not have a Christmas movie for them, and then kind of try to tweak it a little bit to make it so that it's going to be really famous over the years for that same following, and they'll have it to look forward to every year. And so that's kind of what this was, and I can appreciate that. I think that they did a really good job with it. Just not my style. That's just all there is to it.
And I will say with Elfman, we didn't do this earlier, but the score is whatever. But when you're talking about musical, it's the numbers, it's the songs that really hit. And he did manage to get 2 holiday staples in one film. Like, This Is Halloween is a Halloween staple. I mean, not a lot of things are. It was kind of virgin territory to get one, but but still, nonetheless, nobody else had nailed a real Halloween staple. So kudos there. And What's This actually makes it onto a lot of Halloween. I mean, a lot of Christmas playlists, and it really has. For being an Elfman vibe, it has a very Christmas feel to it, and it's a good Christmas song. So that was a big accomplishment there. And I will say Tim Burton, as I'm not an emo kid. I'm not a goth guy. I never wore nail polish or lipstick. I don't cut myself. I don't hurt myself to see if it.
And there goes the push again, Dan.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't write poems, and so I was never that guy. And I know that the people who are like Burton things, and that Burton has this reputation as that. And yeah, it's dark and it's macabre, but Burton has a whimsical quality. There's a whimsy to his goth that most goth. It's not most goth things are just very very serious, and I'm not big on things that are very very serious. And if Tim Burton is just not super serious about almost anything,
I think that's the thing that really makes it funny to me is that, when you watch Tim Burton be interviewed about any of this stuff, he's not like that. I think a lot of, like, if I don't know if you've ever seen an interview with like Stephen King or R.L. Stine, and you're like, man, they're totally weird. I could see them writing those weird books. You know what I mean? And I could see having the mind necessary. And I think a lot of people think that Tim Burton is the same way just because he always has these kind of abstract movies. He's really not like that. And so when you see an interview with him about something like this and you hear him talk about it, and it's kind of like, he could have cared less whether or not it appealed to that particular audience. He just wanted his vision to be out there, and so it's different. And so I think that's kind of, a lot of people expect Tim Burton to be kind of this weird, antisocial, emo, goth guy, and he's not like that at all.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I think is really funny about kind of the following that his movies have gotten. And none of the people in his movies are that way, right? I mean, Johnny Depp isn't really that way. Winona Ryder's not that way. All the people that are in his movies aren't that way. They're just, they just kind of appeal to the people that are. And so I think that it's just kind of interesting that that's kind of how he has gained this reputation over time. But
just never forget that Beetlejuice culminates in the Banana Boat song.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
People singing Deo, come Mr. Tana, that guy has a wicked sense of humor. You know what I'm saying? He's not some sad guy, in the corner. He likes weird, creepy things, but he's also very funny.
I mean, the man cast Nicolas Cage as Superman. Okay, I mean, that's a real thing that happened. Okay, he cast Nicolas Cage as Superman. He's not as serious as he leads on. Okay, he's just not.
Yeah.
So
right. He likes a good joke.
That's right.
So anyway, that's our discussion of Tim Burton's. Did you have anything else the you wanted to say about The Nightmare Before Christmas?
No, nothing I wanted to say about The Nightmare Before Christmas. Right before we hopped on, Dan, I saw the trailer drop for Scream 7. Did you see that drop?
I did not.
I just saw it drop. Go check it out. I think it looks very intriguing. What's really interesting about the Scream series in particular is I have thought for years it was more satirical than serious. You know what I mean? Like I always kind of had the feeling like they were really poking fun at slasher movies more than actually making slasher movies, This one actually, and maybe the movie won't be that way, but the trailer looks to be something relatively serious. So I'm kind of I'm intrigued. I'll just say it. I'm intrigued by it. So we'll see. But
I am totally behind on my Scream. I
gave up after 3. I'm not gonna lie. I gave up after 3. So
my memory is cloudy after 2. 2 is the one where they're in college, right? And
which one's the one where Liev Schreiber dies at the beginning? Was that like 4 or 5? I don't know.
I don't know that I've seen more than 3. I need. It's not on purpose that I haven't seen them. It's just like it got. One comes out and you're like, you know what? I don't really remember the last one, so I need to rewatch before I could watch. And then you don't find time to rewatch, so you don't watch, and then you end up 4 movies behind. Is what happens,
Yeah.
And at this point, I feel like the true monster should be Courtney Cox, and it should be the horror of her super stretched face. that's what
she's apparently in this new movie. So yeah, she's apparently in this new movie, as was Nev Campbell. So so yeah, I feel like I feel like, you know, in the first one, I felt like they let a lot of good characters die that could have had some staying power over the years, but oh well. I mean, you know, when you're making something that's almost semi-satirical, like I was talking about, you can't really get hung up on that kind of stuff. And so I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even realize there was a 6, I don't think. So when I saw that the trailer came out for 7, I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. So anyway.
I think 6 was just called Scream. You know what?
Yeah.
I think
was it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it had what's her name? Wednesday in it.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
She's in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's in everything now.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, now we lost the I think one of the best characters we lost in 2. It was the nerd, you know.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy. Jamie Kennedy, right?
Fan. Yeah, and he knew everything, and it's like this guy.
Well, and he was the one that was kind of poking fun at the movie that he was in, right? He was the one that was just like, you know, this is just like every other slasher movie, and this is what happens, and this is what, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I absolutely hate Jamie Kennedy, by the way. So I cannot watch anything that he's in. Cannot watch anything that he's in, but that's probably the only character of his that's tolerable, for sure. So yeah, I cannot watch anything else. I tried watching his stand up. I cannot do it. Okay. And if you've ever seen a little sequel called Son of the Mask, you'll want to jump off the nearest balcony. Okay. But other than that, this movie, Jamie Kennedy, not too bad.
All right, so there's our ringing endorsement for Scream and my ringing endorsement for The Nightmare Before Christmas. We will be back next Thursday. It will be November, so
something. We're gonna do something. Yeah. It's Christmas according to Dan. So
yeah, we'll probably start on the Christmas movie. The Dairy Show. Did that start? That started.
Yeah, that started last week, I think. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But again, that's another thing. If you're going to make a big horror-centric series, I think I would run that the whole month of October and have it wrap up around Halloween. I mean, who wants to watch an It show at Christmas time? That's not.
I don't.
That's not good planning.
Yeah, I really don't. And honestly, I don't know that I'm very interested in that show. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like a lot of the Stephen King stuff is a little convoluted right now. I kind of want it to settle down and want someone to kind of actually focus on that universe. But yeah, that's we'll see. Maybe it'll be well done. I'll have to see it. We'll find out.
But no guests this week. I am Dan. That is Tim. We are the Nerd Champs, and we'll be back next week. Until then, Tim, OH.
I-O.